Hello, everyone. So Ian here, Millionaire Amazon CEO. I'm flying solo today. Drew is busy. He's caught up. He's traveling. He couldn't make it today. So I said, hey, I'm going to go solo. I think I can handle it. I've only done 18 episodes. So maybe number 19, I could do it alone. We have a really great guest today named Adam Ackerman. I've known Adam for many years, and he's just a smart dude, and he really cares, and he's one of these guys that really gives a shit, and everything he does is extremely thought out and methodical and deliberate. Adam is in the supplement space. He has a supplement brand that Bullseye has been managing for about a year. It's a fantastic brand. Like really a great brand, like one of those brands and listings on Amazon that you just go, man, how do I look like that? And that's how his brand is. He's starting a new brand coming up. He's also just created this really interesting service called TurnKey Nutrition. I'm going to ask him about it today. I want to get into it with him because he pitched it to me offline, and I was like, this is so needed in the supplement and skincare space. There's so many terrible relationships between suppliers and private label sellers. And what he's doing is quite special. So I think you guys should listen to this episode, hear him out. And we're going to dive into supplements too and find out what his successful actions are in the supplement space. What has he done to make so much freaking money in supplements? So if you're a supplement seller or even a skincare seller, you need to be glued to the next 45, 50 minutes and listen or watch this pod. So without further ado, here's Adam Ackerman. Ackerman, I'm just realizing I don't know what the Ackerman heritage is. I'm kind of a name guy. I haven't told you that, but I like names. So tell me where Ackerman comes from.
Primarily German, Czech.
Okay.
Little Scandinavian in there. It's often I don't say confused, but Jewish name, but it isn't. I'm not. But yeah, mainly German.
Because of the men, the MAN can be confused with Jewish. That makes sense.
Yeah. So my wife, my ex-wife, I should say, my ex-wife is Jewish. So, but the funny thing is, so our whole life, everyone thought I was the Jew, not her, because my last name's Ackerman. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, no.
That is funny. Yeah, but oh, good. You're like a European mutt. I'm a
Jew. How are you getting? Why is everyone asking if you're the Jew? I'm like, I'm the Jew. I'm like, well, that's sweet.
So my name, since no one's asking, but my name, Paige, is a name given to my great grandfather at Ellis Island.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and check this out. Here's what's even weirder. It's like the name he had was Paja, Paga. Okay, but he was my step grandfather. He wasn't even my blood grandfather. He was married to my great grandmother, who changed her my grandparents' kid's name to Paige or Paja. But my actual great grandfather's name is Cosmo DeFranco.
Okay, that's the last name, Cosmo DeFranco, or that was his first name?
First name, last name, Cosmo DeFranco. So my name should be DeFranco, but because my great grandmother decided to change the kids' names, totally right.
Yeah,
it's way cooler too.
Oh, you could always change it back.
I'm doing it. Formerly known as Paige. All right, brother. Well, Adam, it's good to have you on, and you and I have been we've been chilling in some capacity for what, 3 years now, in this crazy Amazon world. We started with like inserts and funnels and landing pages.
Going like 5 or 6 years, bro. Just
what? Okay. Yeah. Oh,
yep.
Pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID.
Yep.
Dude, what is wrong with my sense of time? That's true.
It's okay. I just value the relationship just a little bit more, but that's okay.
A little bit more. Yeah. You've cataloged it a little bit better than I have. So
we've been busy. We've been doing a lot.
So tell me a little bit about, or tell the audience, because I think I want to jump into TurnKey Nutrition, but before then I want to go into an origin story. You were just telling me what that plaque is behind you. I think that goes into your origin story. So let's start there. How'd you get on e-commerce?
Okay, so 2013 2011 moved from Chicago to California. Was really struggling to kind of figure out what I was going to do career-wise once I got to California. I sold a business in Chicago, moved out here, but it wasn't enough to retire. And then I started looking at real estate prices out here, and I'm like, oh man, this is I'm feeling a little over my head. So I'm like, I got to figure something out. So one day, I started following all these people online, started getting bombarded by the emails, as we all know. And Matt Clark and Jason Katzenbach from amazing.com, if I'm allowed to say that,
you are allowed to say it.
Popped up into my my inbox, and like these two young guys were in the south of France, talking about selling products on Amazon. I was like, what the heck? That looks pretty cool. So I, of course, watched the video, and the next thing I know, they got one SKU selling $100,000 a month, and I'm like, well, I feel like I could do that. And then I really started looking at took a step back, say, okay, shiny object, but what does this business model entail? And then as I started going through the checklist of things that I'd like to do, it's like, working online, work from anywhere in the world, not easily scalable, but scalable. I don't need a ton of employees, but the sky's the limit. And, it just really hit me right then and there that if they could do it, I could do it. I didn't know anything about Amazon, but I wanted to give it a shot. So signed up for the course, and I figured if I could do 25, 30 grand a month, that would be absolutely amazing, right? So I started out on this journey, went to Austin for the initial event. And long story short, I met a great person there, became business partners with that person. And within 12 months, we went from doing maybe, zero revenue to about $700,000 a month. We were just absolutely killing it in the supplement space, right? So then that allowed me to buy my first home, and it just changed the entire trajectory of my life. And so that plaque that you see there coming full circle, it was 10 years ago last May, I believe. Amazing had their 10-year reunion. And I was honored with that plaque back there for, doing over 10. In the course, it was $10 million because it didn't really go that high. But I've done over $50 million in sales on Amazon and e-commerce since I started back in 2013.
Amazing. And how did supplements get into your brain? Like, most people just start with Chinese trinkets back then. That was the popular thing. How did you go right into I would say
so Matt and Jason were selling a supplement. So I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of following their playbook. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, listen, I want something that is a constant seller. Like, to me, building an annuity always made sense, right? Whether it's real estate, getting, monthly rent checks, so every couple of months, if I do a really good job and people love my product, they're going to order more, right? And so I know if I put one person in the hopper today, and then I get 2, 3, 4, so that just continues to snowball. And then you build an audience and a customer base. So those consumables are always being taken. And then it's just like, now every single month I've got predictable cash flow because I've got all these customers that are on the product. So that's why supplements. It could have been anything else, but I just gravitated towards that. And I like helping people. I think at the end of the day, most important component is I wanted to help. I wanted to make people feel better.
So that brand, did you exit that brand, or is that the same brand that you're operating today?
Yeah, I still have that brand today. It's not nearly doing what it was at that time. Excuse me, because it's like once you hit a certain pinnacle, you start to do other things, and I've definitely taken my eye off the ball. Hence why you and I have been working together for the last year or so. But it's been an amazing ride, and I still have the brand. It's successful. But with the things that we're doing right now with your team, I know it's going to double, triple in the next year or so. So yeah, I'm definitely putting more energy into it. But yeah, I've had that same company all this time.
And I was just looking at your product launch roadmap. Eric was showing me on our weekly meeting, and I was like, damn, Adam doesn't mess around. He either doesn't launch products, or he launches every product in the playbook. Like, so all of a sudden, it's like how do you keep that enthusiasm after 10 years in the supplement grind? Because some people get chewed up and spit out. It's brutal out there. How do you stay enthusiastic, man?
Well, I think how I started then is not how I would launch a product today. But because the brand's been around so long, it does have a very faithful audience. So introducing new products to that line isn't overly complicated because I've already got a base. But if I were starting from scratch, it'd be much different. So my current brand is very broad reaching, right? It's very kind of casting that out there, and I've got something for everybody. Whereas if I were to launch something today, which I am, it would be very niche specific, right? I'd find a problem in the marketplace, and I'd really create product around solving that problem for a specific audience and go deep into that, which we could certainly talk about more and why I'm doing the things I'm doing now. But that would be my approach today versus then. So how I say enthusiastic, I just love what I do. I feel very blessed to wake up every day to have, the career that I have. It's not for everybody, but for me, I love it. And it's challenging, right? It's like a puzzle, figuring out the right formulations, the right this, the right that, what's going to resonate with the audience. It's really fun to me to do that process. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, enthusiasm is everything. I talked to Janelle Page a few episodes ago, and she said that the reason she's always successful, because she just literally bats 1,000 on launching products, is that she's always enthusiastic about the product she's launching, and if she's not, she won't launch it.
Yeah.
And it's not enthusiastic about the money she's going to make. It's actually enthusiastic about the product and about the use case and about the audience and about the problem she's solving. And I think that you can see that in your listings. Like, you have really beautiful listings, great branding. You have formulations that were first to market. I think that's what immediately surprised me about you, Adam, is you're like, I'm the only guy doing organic on this area. There's no one else. I'm like, how do you get that? And I think that's from your enthusiasm. Like, you just find the formulation and you get it out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And thank you for that. For me and anyone watching this or listening, it comes down to a couple things, right? So value. I really try and find, if I'm going to launch a product, it's got to, in essence, do 3 or 4 things. If I can do it as clean as I can, meaning organic, I will. That's kind of almost a must box to check these days, but it wasn't when I did it, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But really create value. So how do I give the customer more than everybody else is giving them, right? Because subconsciously you see 2, 3 listings, and when you're competing with sellers that got 13,000, 15,000 reviews, obviously these are common sense things, but a lot of times they're missed. So create a ton of value for the customer. If everyone's doing a 2 ounce, I'm doing a 4 ounce, right? But I'm still charging the same that I would on the competitor is on their 2 ounce. So value in regards to formulation and what they're getting, and then value and price when it comes to try the best you can. Even though you might have a little thinner margin, you've got to compete somehow, right? And do it that way. And then when it comes to formulation, it's like, I want best in class. So I'm looking at all the competition. I'm pushing the limits at all times. I try and keep the dosages around the same. So if the bestseller is doing two pills or 4 drops, whatever it is, I try and give them more value for that same dosage. So it doesn't feel like they're taking 6 pills to get more. That doesn't really work as much, but if you can do that, great. And then, again, when it comes to formulation, just try and really push the envelope and do better than what everybody else does. The value's there, and then price point, right? If you can match or even charge a slightly bit more while you're ramping up the reviews and getting that momentum, then you can always raise prices down the road. But I've found a lot of times it's just about volume, right? So if I can be very competitive, then I'll launch another product and I'll launch another product. And you start chipping away, and before you know it, there's a formula there, right? There's a formula to get to 100,000. There's a formula to get to 1 million. And it's just, you can do 20 products a day, 30 products a day. You don't need to do 500. If you get a bunch of really good products going, you can build a portfolio, and over time that just accumulates value in the marketplace. And as those 4-star, 5-star reviews keep coming in, you'll eventually eclipse the competition. It just takes time.
Interesting. I have a lot of supplement clients, so I kind of want to dig in with you a little bit deeper than I would with most of my guests, because supplements are an area. I think probably 30% of my clientele is in the supplement space. So let's just dive into this. What do you economics? When you're buying a product wholesale and you're formulating yourself and you're really trying to make sure it's a standout product with high ingredients, so you're not buying a product off a catalog. I know that about you. You're not just going, give me 3 of those. No, you're usually custom formulating. what do the economics look like? Are you paying 5 trying to sell for 20, paying 7 trying to sell for 25? What do you find works in the space?
Yeah, if you can get 4x, that's always my goal. So 5
Okay.
sell for 20. That doesn't always work. I think most of the time my products are they range between $6 and $8 cost. My
Yeah,
cost.
you have high end products for sure.
So you pay a little bit more, but the benefit on the back end is that I hit that sweet spot in regards to value. So I might charge, excuse me, $22. Top sellers at 20. So I might charge $1 or 2 more, or I'll be right on par. So instead of making 4x, I might be a little bit less, like 3.5. But I'm okay with that because I just try and get the volume going. So that's always been my strategy.
And what's the sweet spot when you define the sweet spot? The sweet spot is you're giving 90 caps instead of 60, you're giving 120 instead of 90, and you're only a couple dollars more. It like kind of just is a no-brainer for the consumer. Would you call that the sweet spot?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're looking at 2 comparable products, one's got 15,000 reviews, and you're just getting started, you've got to compete on some level. So again, going back to the formulation, make sure the formulation's better, right? Not
Yep.
on par. And this is what you can't really do with white labels, white labeling products. And this is the one thing I never really understood with companies that sell white label products, where you just take it off the shelf, put your brand on, and you put it on Amazon. Is I don't get it, but they're never competitive with the top sellers on Amazon. So it's like, it's really, I don't know, a futile point in my mind. So if you can find a manufacturer that's willing to make you a couple thousand bottles, 2,500 bottles, which is usually the MOQ, the minimum order quantity, then you're really in good shape, because you can create a custom formulation that's yours, that's better than anything else on the market, and that has more value to the customer. So again, they're doing a 60 count, you're doing a 90 count. Or if you're going to do a 60 count, you're just going to make the formulation better. So instead of having 1,500 milligrams of fish oil, you're at 1,750, right? You got to push that envelope a little bit.
And if you see that they're using additional fillers, you're going, we're not doing that. So it's sometimes minuses and positives. What are
Yes.
you not doing that they're doing? You don't have sugar, they have sugar, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So going back to what I would do, what I did then versus what I would do now. So now with my current, or then with my current brand, every business I've built is about telling the story. How good are you at telling your brand story or your product story? Okay. So when you're doing a vanilla product, you've got to make the product the hero, because you don't really have any other story to tell. So my story, again, has always been value, formulation, and price. That's the story I got to win on, because it's a commodity product. Right now I'm selling commodity-based products. But moving forward, niching down, I'm not selling commodity-based products. I'm selling very unique problem-solving products that have a whole story built around them, right? So for instance, I'm launching a brand called Gut Brain, okay? And that is around probiotics that specifically focus on what's called a psychobiotic, the connection between the stomach and the brain. There is a whole story there that I can tell endlessly, right? And I can create products specifically for people who suffer from IBS, anxiety, sleep disorders, right? Those are 3 products right there within this category of a brand that I can go really deep into. I can get ambassadors, I can get, influencers, I can create a ton of content. There's clinical studies around these things, but there's a story there that most people have never heard of, and that's the gut-brain connection. So that's specific, right? And then you can go really deep into that, and you can charge more because there's more perceived value to the brand and the product. That's the key to how we do moving forward for all of my customers. And that's part of the strategy that I work on with all of our customers on TurnKey and my own brands.
I liken it like I go to the grocery store and I'm looking for a ribeye steak, and it's like Ian Page ribeye. And I'm like, Ian Page ribeye? Oh man, this was formulated for me. Like, this is my ribeye. This has the exact amount of fat I like. This is the Ian Page special. And I feel like if everybody can create that custom formulation to enough Ian Pages out there, then they're gonna win in that category. And you're doing exactly what I'm starting to finally get on that train. And let me tell you a quick story. I don't think the audience in this pod knows it, but on the other pod, episode 1 is dropping next week. We are launching a product solely using artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and we're launching episode 1 on that next week. And we basically have gone down this rabbit hole of what does AI think is the right move to do on Amazon? And Adam, it's exactly what you're saying. Like you're basically just you're a glorified version of artificial intelligence, my friend. That's what you are. A better looking version too, for sure. But yeah, but here's what AI told. I always say he, for some reason AI to me is gender specific. But what he said is, he said you need to get a consumable. Okay. Here's the 5 categories that I think you should that are growing. So he gave me like coffee, tea, pet, face masks, like 5 specific categories. Then I asked him, okay, out of the 5, which one would you pick? And then he said I would pick the pet consumable. Then out of that, I said, good. What how do I differentiate? And then he told me, he's like, you need to be breed specific.
Oh.
Everything you're telling me right now.
So great story. So on Instagram, I've got a Frenchie, like a little French bulldog, right?
Yep.
And there's a brand. I don't know how they know it. Somehow they know I like Frenchies. I must have been looking at some Frenchie videos, whatever. But I get targeted this dog treat specifically for Frenchies, because Frenchies. I'm going to get off topic, but there's a point, and the point is that Frenchies have like really their skin itches, whatever, right? So I get targeted these vitamins with an ad that specifically shows a Frenchie like scratching its skin, and if you take these vitamins, that will help the Frenchie with its skin situation. Of course, I bought it. Of course, I bought it. All right, so the point you're making is right, like that is super breed specific, niche specific. There's a symptom that it's solving, and I'm the perfect consumer. And it's like, yeah, that's how you do it today. When I go back to my gut brain brand, everything I do is something that I relate to. So for instance, my father, not to go down this path, but he passed away from like early onset Alzheimer's. Okay. But I didn't want that for myself. I'm like, that scared the hell out of me. And it still does. So I started researching all these things that I could do. And then I, in this research, stumbled across the gut brain axis, this component of the gut and the brain that helps. And if your brain has inflammation, it's typically pretty much caused from your gut. So if I can help my gut and my microbiome, that's going to reduce the inflammation in my brain, which could give me a chance of, right? So there's these dots that you start to connect. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, if this would work for me, imagine all the other millions of people that could benefit from this type of product. And then boom, you have a brand, you have an idea, you have a story, and you begin to start to tell that. And then you work with individuals like us to bring that vision to life and to reality, right? And that's how you start to build a team.
So the story, I think that's the area people miss. I think that's what you're hitting right on the head, is that people come into this private label space and they just want to make money. Let's be honest. That's the first part of the story. They need to make money. But they forget that outside of that, there needs to be more to it. You can't just come in to make money and take a bottle of Ackerman and just say, I'm going to put my brand on it with my face and it's going to sell for $12 and I'm going to crush it. That's just, in 2010, yeah, you would have been fine, but not in 2024. So that story is the missing element, that human emotional story. Why are you launching that? What problem is it solving? Who is it catered to? And do you even care about that audience? Are you catering to an audience you even know anything about? Do you know anything about people that have Alzheimer's or dementia? And the cool thing is, you're saying, I know something about this. I've lived it in the worst way possible. But at the same time, I'm going to solve the problem because I have an emotional response to it. So you're actually launching a passion project catering to a pretty large audience called everybody who has gut flora or lack of it. Right. I mean, come on, there's 300 million people in America and 100% of them have a gut brain connection.
Yeah.
But you're catering to a specific audience of people who are aware acutely of that connection and want to do something about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when it goes to telling the story, so some additional nuggets is that there's 3 ways that you can be an authority in anything, right? So the very first way is you could do the thing somebody else wants to do. So if I climb Mount Everest, there's a good chance that if you want to do that, you'd like to hear what I have to say, and you're going to trust me. I have instant trust with you because I've already done the thing that you want to do. Okay, that's number one. Number two
Yep.
is I could interview 500 people who have climbed Mount Everest, and I could put that information together for you, which you could read in a book or an ebook or something else like that. Still credibility, because now I've gotten the information or the mind share of 500 people, and now giving it to you. Not as good as the first one, but still really, really good. Okay, I'd have credibility. The third one is the best one, and that is where I've climbed Mount Everest myself personally. And then I've also interviewed the 500 people who have climbed it as well. Now I'm an expert. Okay. You can become an expert in what you want to sell by doing the thing and then talking to others who have also done that thing or experienced that thing. Then now you've got incredible credibility with your brand, and the integrity's there. And integrity nowadays is the most critical component. So with Gut Brain, I myself have a direct connection to the idea of it because my dad passed away from something that is a protocol or a byproduct of a gut brain axis situation. And then I went out there and researched the what out of this subject, all the major scientists, all the brand ambassadors, and now I've collected this information and I'm putting it together so that you, the consumer, don't have to spend the time and the energy figuring this out on yourself. I'm the superhero in my own story. And so as soon as you can become the superhero in your brand story, you are 99.9% further ahead than anybody else in the marketplace, and you will dominate if you stick with it. And now you surround yourself with the right superhero team. That is where I found the most critical component of my success. So idea around something that's in my life that is relevant to me. I do the thing because now I'm taking my own product. I research it, and then I surround myself with the right team that can help me tell that story.
Man, you're the genuine article for sure. And you're putting in the work. And I think that extra work is all that behind the scenes preparation that all the failed brands are not doing. It's that behind the scenes prep, becoming the expert, actually climbing the mountain, actually interviewing people, finding out what people really are dealing with, again, versus slapping a label on something. So let's jump into, I think it's a good time to jump into TurnKey Nutrition, because you're doing something, again, outside the box from your experience. So how has TurnKey Nutrition become a passion project for you, and why did you start it?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that. So TurnKey Nutrition, for me, again, going back to the whole process, is I try and eliminate pain points for not only for myself and my own business. This is how I got started. So what I figured out and learned early on in the supplement space, the pharma and skincare, kind of done both, is that there's a tremendous, and I imagine this is most industries, but especially in the pharma and nutri space and skincare, there's a tremendous amount of non-transparency, if you will, right? There's a lot of shady players. There's a lot of great ones, but there's a lot of shady ones. And unfortunately, I've had to kiss a ton of frogs to get to the point where I can create a predictable business model. Because if you're not getting the right product, if you're paying too much, if you're not getting your product on time, you're getting over-promised and under-delivered 90% of the time, that's very difficult to scale a company and a business, right? Like imagine anything. If you're always running out of inventory, you're not planning correctly, but you're putting in your orders on time, that's very challenging. And if you're not ordering a lot of quantity, you become almost like a second-rate citizen, right? You're like, I'm going to deal with my 10,000, my 20,000 unit orders over here. This 2,500 unit order is not going to get the time and attention it needs. But for you and your business, that matters, because it's so hard to build momentum on Amazon and e-com that if you run out of product, or the product isn't what you're being sold. For instance, if Amazon tests it and it doesn't have the ingredients that you thought were in that product, you then open yourself up to lawsuits, and your business is in the toilet, and all that work you've done is worth nothing at this point. So finding the right manufacturing partners is that bedrock, right? Just like the story. Now you've got your story, your product. Now you've got to find the right manufacturing team to create that product for you, so that you can know that that ship is going to sail off in the sunset and you can focus on the second product. The point I'm trying to make is I failed a lot with manufacturers and I was tired of it. So I said to myself, okay, if I'm dealing with this issue, I imagine all of my other Amazon and online e-commerce friends, right, are dealing with the same situation. So I said, okay, I'm going to do something about this. I've got Bullseye managing and handling my brand currently for me on Amazon. I know it's entrusted in good hands as we're launching more products. I want to take my time and attention, and I'm going to put together the best team I possibly can and the manufacturing side. So what I went out and did was I found the very first person that I bought a supplement from back in 2011 or 2013, I should say. The most loyal, the smartest person in manufacturing I know. And I approached them. I said, listen, here's my idea. I want to create a business model where I can leverage my expertise on e-com, right? And I can be a consultant and a brand ambassador for all these brands on Amazon that are doing, you know, X amount of dollars. They've got 2 or 3 products. They got 1 product. Maybe they got 15 products. I don't know. But they're kind of plateaued, right? And they need some help on e-com to understand what's working now, what's happening now, right? Getting that mind share that you and I do on the daily, and then also putting together that product roadmap on the manufacturing side. So first and foremost, we are product manufacturers. We've identified probably 25 of the best manufacturers across the country, and we've developed very specific relationships with them. And we said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're in essence going to be your outside sales representatives, right? And we're going to go out there and we're going to help brands launch unbelievable products that they know are going to work. They're going to get on time. They're going to pay the best pricing, and they can eliminate a lot of that headache that they're currently dealing with now with their manufacturers by working with TurnKey. So the idea is you kind of bring your idea and we'll handle the rest. So going back to that team concept, we've got the best manufacturers. You're going to get to leverage myself when it comes to kind of the brand and understanding what's going on. We're not a marketing agency. That's not what we do. That's what you guys do, right? But we will help a brand kind of think through the logical steps of how to get from where they're at to really want to go in that product roadmap, and then create unique products for them specifically to help them do that.
It almost sounds a little bit like you're like the agent, you know, like you're representing the athlete and you're going and making sure that athlete gets the right representation, the best deal possible, you know, gets that endorsement that fits their brand, you know, really just like looking out for the guy. And that's when people don't have, is they don't have someone looking out for them. It's actually brutal out there, Adam. I've seen businesses totally go under because of a manufacturing issue, and they have no recourse to the manufacturer. The manufacturer just goes, next, and just picks up the phone, and there's 10 other people calling him, and he's like, what can I do for you? And he sells the next guy. It is brutal out there. So TurnKey takes your idea. So you basically are like incubating. You're going, good, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to do this
do you want a gummy? Do you want an energy drink? Do you want a sports bar? Do you want a supplement? You know, like what are you trying to accomplish?
And then you take that and then you make sure that that vision gets seen through in the manufacturing sense and that the price is right. And how do you guys get paid? Do your clients have to pay you a retainer or what? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah. So going back to what you just said. Yeah. So you bring your idea, we'll help you formulate it, right? So make sure that you're best in class in formulation, best in class in ingredients. All of your ingredients are certified, and you know the product is exactly what we say it's going to be. That's very important. All the certificate of analyses are there. And so we don't mess around when it comes to any of those things. Well, assuming that's done, the way we get paid, and the beautiful part is we're no additional cost to our customers, meaning these labs that we work with and have vetted personally. And again, we've been to these labs, we know the owners, we've seen them, we've already worked with them, and we do a lot of volume with them. So the average person who's doing 2,500 units is probably going to get the pricing that a 10,000 unit order might get, because we do so much volume with these manufacturers. But they allocate a percentage for their inside sales reps that's already built into the cost of the product. So that's the beautiful part about this. You get to leverage our entire team, our 80+ years of experience, but it doesn't cost you any more than what you're already paying now, because that percentage is already allocated into the product price. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's awesome. Yeah, because everyone has to get paid, so you always wonder, good, am I paying $1 more per bottle to have Adam as my dude, or is it? But it sounds like a total win-win situation.
Yes, absolutely. And again, in most cases, we're on par or less than what the customer's already paying, or we're going to get them the best price possible in formulation. And this whole model is built on trust and transparency, right? Those are two words that I again want everyone listening to this to implement into their business immediately. We are trustworthy, but that's earned. You have to earn that trust. But when it comes to transparency, we want to make sure that our customers know, once they sign up with us, who that lab is, who are we working with, like who are all the parties involved in this. We help you bring all that together. This is listen, so that you, the brand owner, can go out and tell your story, because that to me is the most important part of building your brand. Telling the story and having a team behind the scenes handling all the heavy lifting for you, so you're not spending hundreds of hours dealing with manufacturing. No. They should be working with Bullseye and their team on the branding, on the story, perfecting the conversions, making sure their images are dialed, and all those things that visually represent the brand, that actually move the needle. Spending your time on manufacturing, that's important, but that doesn't move the needle when it comes to sales, right? Let's just assume we've got a great product, which is what we help you create. I've seen way too many times brand owners launch products, and right out of the gate, they start getting these 2, 3, 4-star reviews. Well, you and I both know that's a dud. Like, if you come out of the gate and you're not already scaling in the right direction, you just wasted all that time and energy, that money, and that a lot of that comes down with the manufacturing process. So by working with us, we're gonna nothing's guaranteed, right? There's no for sure, but it is the easy button when it comes to making sure that your formulations are best in class. And we're going to help you get those 4 or 5-star reviews. That's critical. And same thing on the skincare line.
That's super helpful. It's very needed. That representation's needed. So you guys are also doing skincare. So it's skincare and supplements.
Yes.
Okay. So we're definitely going to drop a link in the notes from TurnKey Nutrition. Are they going to be talking to you, or do you have a colleague that they're going to reach out to?
They'll connect with Daniel.
Okay.
He's our top kind of ambassador in regards to helping with the formulations. But at some point, if we get to move forward and we need brand strategy and marketing strategy and product strategy, formulation, I'll definitely be involved. I love doing this stuff. I love helping other brands succeed. I'm passionate about it, and it's a challenge to me. So, and I'm good at it. It just seems to be like my thing. So
yeah, you are good at it.
Allow me to help you with your
and you've climbed the mountain. You've actually climbed the mountain. Like, you are climbing the mountain right now. Like, your brand, you have a great brand on Amazon. If you want to share your brand, I'll leave that to you. But you have a really great brand on Amazon, and I think people can look at your brand and really immediately get that story that it's telling. And your current brand is less of a storytelling brand than the one you're launching now, because that's more of a wider audience, which is the story of a wider audience is a little harder to tell, right? Every man, woman, and child can take a supplement is a difficult story. The one you're about to launch, is very intriguing. So you mentioned in the beginning of the pod, like, these days you wouldn't just launch a vitamin C. You wouldn't just launch another zinc.
I'll
tell you where do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you what I would do. I apologize. I thought you were done, but I'll tell you what I would do. If I had Bullseye and I had TurnKey now, and I was just getting started, and this is the truth, I would sit down with Bullseye, and I would say, okay, using the AI or your manual process, help me identify the next 12-month roadmap for my product creation. What's trending? What should I launch? What's on brand for me? And how can I tell a story there? Okay. And then we would identify those 4 products, 1 per quarter. And then I'd say, okay, let me work with the TurnKey team. Let me take these products that are top sellers and let's create a better formulation than what everybody else has. And let's build that out. So quarter 1, we're going to launch product A. Quarter 2, B, C, and D. Okay. And then I would go back to TurnKey. We put that whole thing together for you. We dial it in. We know what the pricing is. And now we actually have a business model instead of just kind of seeing it and trying to figure out what may or may not be. We use science, we use data, we use technology to zero in. And then we utilize, again, science and data and technology on the back end with TurnKey, because we have a ton of AI that we use as well. And we create the best formulations. And then when you launch that product, you can be so confident. Again, no guarantees, but you can be so confident that you're head and shoulders above everybody else in your strategy that, you know, it makes sense investing in that process versus just trying to do this on your own. I mean, and you can be very successful, but the team is critical, is what I've learned, is having the great team is paramount now. So I could just go out
And
and
it takes, yeah, and you know what? It takes a long time, unfortunately, to find the right team in manufacturing, find the right team in the, you know, technical space, which is the agency space or the consultant space. Once you, it's like once you find a really good buddy from college, you stick with them for life. It's really no different, right? You just stick with that person and you're like, this is someone I can trust. So you're basically leveraging a decade of team building is what you're doing with TurnKey. You're basically leveraging what you did by team building and helping other people to immediately like just strap into your team and go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to manufacture a product, we can do that, certainly, but that's not really our specialty. Our specialty is looking at it from a holistic perspective, right? If you are looking to just manufacture a product, great. But we are so much more than that, because we want to help you on the front end and the back end. So we aren't doing the marketing, but I'm strategizing with you on the things that I would do and how I view it and how the team views it. And then we hand it over to Bullseye to implement, right? As well as some of the, you know, a lot of the strategy. But then on the manufacturing side, we get you the best pricing, we help you the formulation, we dial all that in so that you can focus on building your business and not so much in the minutia of the day-to-day. You know, of manufacturing, which again, it's the wild, wild west in a lot of the cases. And so we just cut through all that crap. Now, there are things happen all the time, but the other thing too about us is that we've got such good relations with these manufacturers. A lot of times these brand owners, they don't have that connection. So if they do run out, or let's say they need the certificate of analysis because Amazon took down their product, they could be waiting days. Right? They could be waiting days for a response. The communication isn't there. With us, within 24 hours or less, you're going to have somebody internally making sure that they are an advocate for you and your brand, which you wouldn't normally have if you were just working with the manufacturer direct. That's just a fact. I mean, I've experienced it. I've done it. I know.
It's amazing. You're definitely solving a problem. So again, we're going to share TurnKey Nutrition's contact info on the show notes, because if you're in skincare and you're in supplement space, even if you have a good manufacturer, I think you should reach out to these guys and see if there's something you're missing, right? They're like, maybe you're missing something. You don't know what you don't know. This has been really illuminating. And Adam, as always, I love chatting with you. We're definitely friends for life. I got to get you to come out to Florida, you know, pay a little less taxes. Maybe that's an idea for you.
Hey, I love it. I'm ready.
Pay a little less taxes.
Dual citizenship, right?
Yeah, maybe, you know, the Floridians might let you in. We'll see. You know, if you say you're from California, you might get, you know, that we'll see. We'll see if we let you in, but you know.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you for having me. I mean, I always love it. Again, a plug for the Bullseye. I've been with you guys over a year, extremely happy, and you've allowed me to focus my passions on building TurnKey, because I know I've got you guys handling the day-to-day. I've already had a tremendous amount of roadblocks with my own brand, products coming down, testing, this, that, and the other. The team's done a phenomenal job. I highly recommend Bullseye for myself and for any other brand. And please give me a chance. I love to talk to you. Let's see what we can do for your products. I think there's a lot of value we can add, and a conversation won't hurt. And if I had a TurnKey when I started 10 years ago, 5 years ago, God, I know it'd be a lot further than even where I'm at today. So, you know, I love helping people, and give us a chance. Love to help you out.
Amen, brother. Love it. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It was good seeing you.
All right, talk soon.